Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you all had a great weekend. Sunday night, we're doing this kind of late. I was having too much fun with my boys and my wife. We were playing Uno earlier on, so it got a little away from me. But we're back. I'm going to talk about why I might be done buying for the time being, at least, in this bull run, I think. I'll go over the reasons why that might be. We'll also take a look at the miners that have been really doing well here recently, this last week especially. Friday was a great day for the miners, even for Bitcoin itself. We'll look at how the miners performed against Bitcoin this past week. We'll look at maybe the smaller miners as well, how they did, enterprise metrics, those types of things. There wasn't any stories out on Friday for the miners, so we don't have anything to talk about there. So then after that, we'll get into you guys' Q&A. We'll call it a day. Okay, but you guys know the drill as always. Not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. And if you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe, hit the like button, and all that stuff that goes along with it. Full disclosure in there as well. And let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin was up a little bit more than where it is now. It's been coming down here a little bit. But Bitcoin's at 68,725. We did cross over the 69,000 mark here a little bit. We were at a high of 69,498, so almost 69,500. We closed above 69,000, or no, what did we close? Yeah, we closed above 69,009. Excuse me. Today, on Sunday, which is good. If we look at the CME futures gap, there's no gaps here, so that's good. I like seeing that. I don't like seeing gaps on it. I mean, if we really look into it here, I mean, we might have a little gap here, but that's nothing major here. We might get that closed in today's trading, so I'm not too worried about that right now. And the miners, like we talked about here, had a great Friday here. A lot of them were up 10, 9, 14, 15%. Some of these guys. All of the large miners did really well, along with some of the smaller miners. Big shout-outs here were to Hive. Hive was up 15%. Hut was up 14% as well. Cleanspark was up 9%. Who else was up next? Bitfarms was up also great, 10% on Friday. And then some of the smaller miners, Any was up 11%, and then Stronghold was up 13% on that, and Mawson was up 9.6%. Okay, on that side of things. If we look at the Bitcoin network hash rate really quick as well, we can see that on the 7-day average, it's back up to 679 exahash on that one. And then if we look at the 30-day average, that's going back up here. So that's our new all-time high here, 661 exahash on the 30-day average. So that is continuing to go up. And we still have a couple more months before the end of the year. My target was somewhere between 800 and 900 exahash. We're still quite a ways away from that, about 140 or so to get to 800. But you just never know, especially if the miners continue to install more hash rate throughout October, November, and December. So we have basically 3 months of data that we're going to still track there. See how close I get to that. Even if we get to like 750, I think I'll be pretty close at 800. Was my original target here at the beginning of the year. So that's kind of worked out pretty close to where I thought it's going to go. And then the hash price on Bitcoin here right now, we haven't looked at this in a couple of days. It's around 48 or so. We did have a nice little peak here. This was on, when was it, October 17th here. We went up to 53, almost $54 on that per petahash USD. So things are looking up for Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners in general. And this is kind of what we were thinking was going to happen here. October's turning out to be a really good month so far. We're up about 9% here in the month. Compared to the other months that, other years for October, we're getting close to where we should be as far as average. The average is about 21. So we might still have a little bit more here to go. But there, again, we might have some months that did really well. October 47% here or 60% here. I don't know if we'll see those, but I'm guessing somewhere around between 20 and 30% I think is a good number to look for here, and gains in Bitcoin here in October. And then November should be also a pretty good month for us historically. So we got that going for us there. Okay, let's take a look at, well, let's talk about why I might be done selling here. So there's going to be some things coming up here that are going to be private to me, basically, that you guys may not experience. But taxes are coming up. I got to prepare for that. I got to prepare also for the trip to Europe next May. Property taxes as well. So I got to basically scrounge cash for a while to make sure I can cover all those things. Don't like putting those things on credit. That's never a good sign. So that's why I might be doing that. Also, the next time I can possibly invest would be probably in like 2 or 3 weeks, just because I've just laid out so much cash here recently, buying Cleanspark, IREN, Bitfarms, and then also selling CORZ and buying more. I am just stretched right now when it comes to cash. So I'm going to be on the sidelines for a little bit. If something changes to that, I will buy more, but more likely I'm going to be on the sidelines, I think, which I'd like to be more active than I am right now. But that's my personal situation here. You guys might be different. If you guys can invest, I would highly recommend, because I still think the miners are going to do really, really well here. Now, the reason I might be done with it is because if I can't invest until for another 3 weeks, the miners could be up at that point already another 40, 50, 100% from where they are right now. And then my potential on X multiples where they can go from there is going to get diminished. So I'll see where things are at that point. But I might, like I said, I might be just done for a little bit. We'll see where things go, see if things get any better or things change or something like that. Okay? But that's basically why I said I might be done buying for, well, at least a little bit. All right, let's go back to the things that we have here, which is the enterprise metrics for the miners here as of Friday. So things are still looking pretty interesting here. TeraWolf is still way overheated here, 199 million per terahash, or that should be per exahash, sorry. 199 million per exahash, way overvalued on that. There, it's all the speculation that they could get a HPC customer in there. That's what's really driving the stock right now. It has been the best performer here, basically in the last 52 weeks when we look at the week over week numbers. And then you got Hut 8, also 169 million per exahash. That's really high based on where their hash rate is right now. Core, 161, same thing, right? I sold Core last week because I'm thinking it might be close to kind of slowing down a little bit. It's not going to do as well, in my opinion at least, as some of the other miners here that are growing tremendously in the next 9 to 12 months potentially. We'll see if that works out the way I think. And then you got Cypher as well, 161. Cypher's also catching a little bit of a euphoria on HPC as well as TeraWolf is. They bought a site that they mentioned in there that they're talking to hyperscalers about some deals there potentially. So that's why the stock's been doing really well here, and that's why they're outperforming some of the other guys that have higher hash rate, more growth going into this year and into next year as well. And so eventually I do expect that to flip, like I keep saying, that some of these guys like Bitfarms here is now the most undervalued for future hash rate growth, followed by Cleanspark, Riot, Iris, and then you got Hive here. And then you got Marathon, which I think is pretty well right now, but I think in time it will flip some of these guys here, especially as Bitcoin gets to like 95, 100,000, 120,000, whatever it might be. We might see then these guys getting up here where they're getting more overvalued potentially. Okay, so that's it on that. Let's take a look at the performance on the weekly side of things here for the miners. We'll look at the big guys first, and we'll look at the smaller guys as well really quick. And here's where we are. So like I said, TeraWolf is up 480% from its 52 weeks bottom here, which is going to be these charts, or these table charts, graphs over here. The red ones are how far the miners are away from the 52-week highs. So we can see that Core is only 5.8% away, right? It's up 390%. That's why I sold my position in Core, is because it's had a really, really nice run up here. And the other thing that we know about Core is that their growth, they're supposed to be getting 15 exahash from Block, the miners. We don't know when those are coming in, when those will be getting swapped out for the older machines that they have there. So I'm thinking that might not happen until sometime first half of 2025, maybe. So right now we're seeing a decline in the revenues as the network hash rate continues to increase. Bitcoin has been kind of going sideways now. With Bitcoin going up, that could help them out with what they do have currently. Right, they're going to be generating more as Bitcoin goes up, but it depends also on how much the network hash rate goes up at the same time. Okay, next, Cleanspark's up 271% here. I think that one is like one of the best performers as far as operations, things like that, along with others like IREN as well. IREN's up 240%. I believe these guys will, in the next 52 weeks, be like the leaders here if things play out the way I think. You got BitDeer up 213%. That one's been having a nice run up as well. Marathon 143%, Hut 134%, Cypher 130%. Bitcoin's only up 130%. So those guys have all outperformed Bitcoin. And you got Bitfarms at 106%, Hive at 74%, and Riot still underperforming, but it's at least getting up there a little bit higher. It was like at 20% from its 52-week low. So now it's getting to 55%. So that's looking better. But you still have a lot of miners here like Cleanspark. That's 48% away from its high. IREN 39%, BitDeer 39% as well. Marathon 44%. And you got Bitfarms 47% and Riot 47% as well. So they still have a ways to go from where they reached their highs this past 52 weeks on those. Okay, now as far as performance over the last week for the miners compared to Bitcoin, all of them have pretty much outperformed Bitcoin except for, you can see here, Core is actually down 3% on the week. Cleanspark's up 34%. That has had a nice run up here. TeraWolf up 24%, Hut 23%, IREN 23% as well, Hive 21%, Cypher 19. Marathon and Riot up 17%. BitDeer up 15. Bitfarms up 11. When we look at the 4 weeks, things change again here. In the 4 weeks, we can see here that the only one that's down is Bitfarms, 8%. That's why I bought more of it last week. I just think it's just way undervalued right now. So all these signs are pointing for Bitfarms to have a nice rally here coming up potentially, where they'll get repriced a little bit. Bitcoin's up 4%. So the only two that underperformed is Bitfarms and BitDeer here. And then you got Cleanspark up 27% in the last 4 weeks and Riot up 26%. So those two are doing really well. Cypher's up 21%. And then you got 9, 14, 7, 11, and 6% on the rest. Going now out to 8 weeks, we have Bitcoin up 16%. Again, Bitfarms being down 5%, right? Underperforming. That's why I got into it. CORZ up 24%. Big gainers were Hut 8, 43%. Cypher, 42%. And then you have BitDeer, 33%. Riot at 31%. And Cleanspark TerraWolf at 20, along with IREN. I was at 22%, but that's kind of the way things stacked up there. And then 12 weeks from ago, we can see that Bitcoin's up 11%. Core is up 48% or 44%, sorry. Followed with TerraWolf at 43%. And then you got Hive at 25%. So those guys have been doing really well here over the last 12 weeks if you got into them. And you got Cleanspark being down 5% and Bitfarms being down 6% as well. So Bitcoin has only miners that outperform Bitcoin are Core, BitDeer, Riot, Cypher, Hive, and then Hut 8 and TerraWolf in the last 12 weeks. And you can see that over here on the chart. We can see that, I don't know if it's a chart, it's a table. We're seeing that Bitfarms has been underperforming here over the last 12 weeks on the 4, 8, and 12 weeks. Core is just now starting to underperform here in the last week. And Cleanspark also underperforming in the 12 weeks. So that's catching a nice bid here. At least last week it did. We'll see how it does this week. But you can see everybody else here is in the green on those time frames. So that's kind of interesting to look. And you can see how the miners performed here last week compared to the prior weeks. And we can see a lot of green here except for one CORZ, whereas last week, prior to that, we had a couple in the green, more in the red, red. Then we had green, red, all of that. And you can see that goes all the way back here, so you can kind of track that trend that's happening there. Expecting this week to be also in the green for the miners, along with Bitcoin here. We're getting close to the election. We got a lot of things happening for us, the rate cuts, all that stuff. China printing money as well. So there's a lot of good news happening here for us. There's also some stuff that, geopolitics and wars and things that are going on that are kind of out of our control, unfortunately, on that one. All right. Really quick on the small miners here, you can see how the miners have stacked. So I have added BitDigital to the smaller miners. I told you guys about this last week. That, they're not growing their hash rate. They're going to be about 2.4 exahash by the end of the year. They're not looking really to grow there. I put them in the smaller miners. We'll see how they do here. I will talk about BitDigital if they have any major news announcements about getting HPC customers or something like that during the normal course of the week. But I relegated them down to the small miners here for the time being. But Mawson here over the last 52 weeks has been the best performer out of the smaller miners, which was surprising. I thought Mawson might be the one that might be going out of business. But they got a nice deal, small deal, but a nice deal with a HPC AI play there. That helped out the stock here and get a nice bid up. Stronghold is getting bought out by Bitfarms. We know about that. That's why they're up. Bitcoin's up 130%. So the only two that have outperformed is Stronghold and Mawson. Everybody else has underperformed here. BitDigital by a little bit here, right? And I've been talking about BitDigital, not really getting valued on their Bitcoin mining nor on their HPC AI plays. They're kind of in the middle there. And that's because I think that they had no infrastructure. Everything was asset light. They were hosting or partnering with people. And maybe now that they actually bought a site and they're building out the sites, that might change for them going forward, but it's going to be more for the HPC AI play on it. Okay, so that's on that one. Last week, you can see here, Mawson was up the most, 34%, BitDigital 28%, Digihost also 28%, Sphere 24%, Stronghold, Bitcoin, and then Argo and DMG underperformed. And we're just going to go through this really quick here. 4 week, you can see how that looks on the time frame. If you're invested in any of those guys here, 8 weeks, same thing. BitDigital has been the best one here out of the smaller miners here. And 12 weeks ago, you got Stronghold being up 69%, outperforming those guys as well. Okay, so that's it. That is all I got for you guys. We'll see what this week brings us. We are getting closer and closer to the miners reporting their quarterly results. Those will be coming in, at the end of the month here, early next month as well. And we'll see where things take us. But let's get into the Q&A side of things here, see if you guys have any questions or anything like that on those topics. Let me go back here to where we were. All right. I'm going to try and catch up to you guys' comments and questions here. I'm going to scroll back up, so be patient with me while I go through and peruse them, see where we are with everything. All right, got that. Okay. What else we have here? Kaz says, hey, Seb, Bitfarms up 10%. I think it's happening where they're getting repriced possibly. Yeah. Riot's also had a nice run up here as well. Chris, how you doing? Nice to see you as well. Let's see. John says, China lowered interest rates another 25 basis points. Okay, interesting. So, yeah, game on for the risk-on assets. That's good. Patrick says, I finally saw Bitfarms green, surprisingly. Yeah, I was happy to see it, too. I'm sure a lot of you guys were. Let's see. 9-7 says 2 weeks pumps in a row, not bad. Looks like October is a thing. It is a thing. Yeah. LTD says have a 199 order at Bitfarms. Where's Bitfarms at right now? Let's see. Where am I at here? Where's my biddy? Bitfarms is at 206 already. I don't know if it's gonna. I'm not sure you're gonna be able to get that filled. If Bitcoin goes up tomorrow, everybody's going to follow suit as well, and Bitfarms will do the same thing. Okay. Kite says, love the giraffe in the background. Yeah, that's Molly. Molly's been with me for about 13 years. She was a gift for when my first son was born, and I just don't have the heart to get rid of her. Let's see. 9-7 says, depending on the next 2 months, I may not start selling my bags till next year. Yeah, we'll have to see where I'm. I'm waiting also to see where Bitcoin ends up at. Everything else. We're going to track everything that we can. Let's see. Patrick says, I just checked Simply Wall Street. Their BTC price is 36 USD. I'm not expecting that much, 20 USD. Yeah, I mean, wow, 36 would be great. I'm guessing somewhere between $15 and $20. If we can get that, that would be fantastic. Hi, Sebastian, joining you live from Ireland. It's just after 4 a.m. here. Great content. Many thanks. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And hopefully you had to wake up for something other than just me. Hopefully you have to go to work or you're just coming back from work. But thank you so much for coming in. Riot target price of BTC. Gosh, I mean, a couple bucks more maybe from where it's at right now at 73,000. Okay. And what else we got here? 9-7 says, I waited too long to sell last cycle, not going to make that mistake again. Yeah, I'm with you. I was in the same boat. Everybody was saying Bitcoin's going to 100,000. Did we ever get there? No, we got to 69,000 twice, and that was it. So I was in that same boat with you. All right. Raz asks, right, tomorrow, current price prediction if Bitcoin gets to 100,000. If Bitcoin gets to 100,000, that's where we're at from now. Roughly, we're off close to 70,000, so we would need another, would that be 50% gain? That would be 35,000, right? That would get us to about 35% gains, 50% gains. I would say those guys should be at least 2 to 3x from where they are right now. And if Riot also improves on their operational uptime, they could go up higher than that. Let's see. Cause Bitfarms can achieve 21 exahash end of year with BTC price about 100,006 will be really undervalued. We would have to run the math on it. I think they should be at least 4 right now, right? And that's with them being at 11. So yeah, I think maybe around 8 or 10-ish might be closer to what I would think they would be. Do you think it's still a good time to buy Cleanspark even though it has already had a $3 move in the last 2 weeks? Or do we see a pullback? That's a tough one. I would dollar cost average in if you can. Excuse me, on any red days. But if we have Bitcoin going up, it's going to be tough to get it at a lower price, potentially. Okay. Cleanspark price prediction if Bitcoin hits 90 to 100,000. Again, so you're looking at least a 2 to 3x from where they are right now. Anything above that is just premium at that point. Let's see, 9-7 says, I will buy more IREN and Cleanspark on pullback in the next 2 months. After that, I will hold till BTC tops out, then start DCA selling. Yeah, that's a great plan. I'd love to buy more. It's just I got to take care of my personal situations, my financial situation first before I can continue to buy more because I've plowed in a lot of money in the last 2 years. What else we got here? Hello, Sub. How much time would you give Riot to improve their uptime before selling and changing to another miner? Thank you. I don't know how long you've been in it, but that's one of the reasons I didn't want to get into Riot was because of their operational uptime. That and their high share-based compensation as well, packages that they have out there. Those are two main reasons for me not getting into them. Now, they've been talking about it. Jason was on with Anthony and Bryce. When was it? About, I think it was 4 or 5 months ago, maybe 6 months. I can't remember exactly when it was, where they, kind of grilled him on, the operational uptime and everything like that. And he said that they should be operating at close to 95% uptime once everything is, good and really good. The miners that got changed out of Rockdale, those should have been already done. They should be operating much higher there. Okay, summer months, okay, they curtail, they get power credits. Okay, I can understand that. So, but now getting into, September, October, November, where you're getting into the cooler months, I would expect them to be at a much higher operational uptime than they have been. And Jason was on Anthony's and Bryce's channel just a week ago, I think it was. And he said that they're working on further improvements and things like that to get operational uptime as well. So how much time would I give them more? I mean, if they can't get those things improved by, I would say, end of November at the latest, closer to like at least 90 to 95% uptime, then there might be some other issues there that we're just not aware of. Victor asks, question, when is the expected 37 exahash from Cleanspark? By the end of the year, but they're saying 37 exahash plus. So could we get to like 40 exahash by the end of the year? Possibly. I mean, that's still beating their target of 32 exahash that they originally set out for this year, where a lot of us, including myself, were skeptical that they could reach that because they didn't have the infrastructure to do that. But man, they've done a fantastic job buying those sites out so that they needed to get to that and then some. So kudos to the Cleanspark team there. Okay. China banking and RE is in big trouble. Yep. Hey, so what is the expected value of Cleanspark? I would say at least 2 to 3x from where it is right now. Okay. Patrick says, Sebastian, also done by miners. Next week, I'm going to buy AMD and Google before their earnings. Okay. Let's see. Question, how do you think the U.S. election is going to affect the BTC price depending on who wins? Look at historical cycles. What happened? It didn't really matter. Bitcoin might have dipped like a day or two after the election results. But after that, it went back up. It's going to do its thing. Don't put too much weight into who gets in there to have a huge impact on it. Okay. Andy says it's time for Bitfarms to awaken. I waited too long. I've been buying into that one for a long time as well. Definitely been a challenge. It's tested my patience. Let's put it that way. Do you think we hit 70,000 this week? Yeah, I think we will. We're close to that already. We're at almost 69,500, so we're only 500 away. I do believe we hit that. We maybe even surpassed 73,000 this week. Okay. Cleanspark seems to finally have some life, and this cycle is seemingly similar to past ones. What's your price prediction for BTC by end of the year? Thanks. I'm thinking somewhere between 100 and 120 by the end of the year, potentially. And that would be probably like a week or two before the new year. We might come down after that, I think. Like the last 2 weeks, we might come down in Bitcoin price in December, only because people are going to be taking profits, marking their ledgers in the green with their investments for the end of the year. So maybe that might happen. Let's see. Ed says, hello, Seb. I don't listen to many spaces on X, but I listened to the one tonight. It was great. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for coming in. Yeah, it's surprising. We typically get pretty good people on there, and sometimes we also get the CEOs, which is always fun to get those on there. Sam Foods, hi, Sebs. Hi, Sam. Let's see. Hey, Seb, how are you? I'm good, thank you. Did you end up talking to Ben about the poor press releases and being more press focused when it comes to the hash rate increase? No, I still have not heard back from Ben on my direct message on X to him. I'll reach out to him again probably tomorrow. I'm not going to bother him now. It's 10 o'clock. But I'll send out a little reminder, see if he's open to another X space or something like that. That would be great. If not, maybe I'll just ask him some questions there. But whatever I find out, I will let you guys know. Do you think the miner stocks will start going down before Bitcoin peaks next year? How much sooner? So I would expect the miners to front run Bitcoin, meaning they're going to peak before Bitcoin like they did last cycles as well. And usually it's like a week or two before Bitcoin peaks. I don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but that's typically what we see. See, Ed says, after listening to the space tonight, I felt like that it is unfair for us regular retailers that some people know some inside info, just like Mike and BitPedro guy. Yeah. I mean, they're in the space, right? So they're going to have a little bit more insider knowledge than some of us will. But it's great to get them on the spaces to then share a little bit what they can. They can't share everything, but they can share a little bit, and we can maybe glean a little light out of that. Let's see. Who do you think or you are leaning towards for the next big deal? Cypher or Wolf are listening to tonight's space. Who do I think will get it? Geez. That I don't know. I'm still skeptical on it. I want to be proven wrong on it, and I hope I am. But right now I'm just skeptical on that getting through. What price Cleanspark? Well, it depends. My top here I think is between like $60 and $70 for it. That's conservative though. It could be up higher than that. Okay. Jonah says Bitfarms should be getting those 2 exahash hosts very soon from SDIG. Yeah, they should if they haven't already. We'll see. We should have a pretty good update for October. We better. Is Bitfarms still a buy? I'm thinking to add more tomorrow. I bought some more. When did I buy? Thursday. I bought some more Thursday. I bought a bunch, about 2,000 shares of it on Thursday. I still think so. I think it's still undervalued. So I think eventually we'll catch up a little bit once Bitcoin starts really flying above 73, 75, 80,000, somewhere above there. Okay. Patrick says, if you believe miners will go higher in the future, now they are still in good price to buy, like Cleanspark. Yes. Hi, so what do you think about the macro environment about Israel and Iran? What will be the effect on BTC if war escalates? To be honest, I don't think it's going to have much of an impact. We might see a dip on it if it does happen to that. Now you got also kind of China rattling its swords a little bit as well, along with North Korea. So we might get a little bit of a dip, but I would think that dip would be a good buying opportunity as well. And then eventually it'll go up. We saw the same thing happen with Russia invading Ukraine. We had a dip and then continue to go back up. What are your thoughts on Cleanspark dilution? Is that already baked into the price? I think it is. I think that's what's kept the price here kind of low or down in the doldrums a little bit in the past couple of weeks, months, is because they came out with that 300 million addition that they're putting into their coffers, right? It's going to be used later on for growth, not right now. But later on, they can use it in ATMs and things like that. But it's not going to be diluting the shares right away. Okay. What price would Cleanspark be too high to add shares? That would depend on your personal goals, right? If you're happy with getting a 2x or a 1.5x, whatever it might be, on anything that you invest in, you could possibly invest in them until they're in the 30s, right? With these guys being such a high risk, I like to get a little bit more of a return on that for the risk and for the time that I've put into it. So my goal originally was if I can at least get a 3x on them, I would probably still invest in them. Ideally, it would be I want to have at least a 5x. What else we got here? Okay, Patrick asks, don't expecting to buy in the bottom and sell in the peaks, just DCA. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Doing the same thing on the way out. Going to DCA out. Which small miners would you pick as the most undervalued? I think right now it would probably be Hive. They're really small, but there's a reason why they're undervalued. They don't have a lot of growth, right? They just want to maintain their 1% of the network hash rate, but they're great operators. They do great everything else except for their growth. If they were more driven, I don't want to say that they're driven, that they're not driven, but if they were more driven to become like the top miner, like be within the top 5 or 7, I think the stock would do better. But that's why I think that's undervalued right now because of that. Andrea, thank you so much. Yes, if you guys want to hit the like button, greatly appreciate it. Okay. Benjamin says, from what I see in the chart, it looks like every Bitcoin miner that's been in business for 10 years, everyone bottom out. You think some miners would see all all-time low or be a bear trap? No, and none of the miners have been around for 10 years. The public miners that have been around the longest has been Hive, actually. It's been around for like 7 years. And then we've had Hut 8 come into this play as well. That was probably after them. Bitfarms, more Canadian miners went public first, I think, and then they moved over to the United States for the NASDAQ and things like that. But then you had Marathon, Riot come into play. Who else after that? And those guys have been around for maybe like 5 years in the public space at least. Okay. What Bitcoin price would you need roughly for Bitfarms to see $10? Well, you would need at least Bitcoin to be, I'm guessing, around 100,000, 120,000, and them getting to 21 exahash, and then also providing good growth for the following year, which they're supposed to get to 35 exahash and more. But those things, it's kind of where we expect things to be. Expect any significant Cleanspark pullback soon? No, we might get a little bit of a dip like tomorrow, maybe in the beginning hours, maybe. I don't even know. And then people are going to buy it up because some people will take profits potentially. But if you see a dip, I would buy it. Okay. Do you see IREN at 24 this year? And that would be roughly a 3x from where it is right now. If Bitcoin gets to 100,000, yeah, I could see that. Okay. See, 97 says 74 BTC price would take out billions of US percentage in leverage shorts. Yeah. Okay. Seb, so Seb, you really think there's a good chance for BTC 100,000 by the end of the year? Yeah, I do. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we'll have a nice little rally here in October, November. December's questionable. I think it's still going to be in the green, but I think it's going to come down towards the second half of December. And then we might have a little bit of a lull in the first quarter, maybe, and then we might start picking back up here in the second quarter. Okay, let's see. Harry asked, Bitfarms versus Hut 8, which is a value buy? A value buy? I would say if you look at which one's more undervalued for their Bitcoin mining, Hut 8 has other segments as well, right? They have the managed hosting. They do a little bit of their own mining as well. And what else do they have? They have something else. HPC AI play in there as well. If you look at strictly Bitcoin mining, I would say Hut 8. I would say Bitfarms is more undervalued than Hut 8. So I would go with Bitfarms. Sauer says, Harry, do not buy Hut 8. Yeah, I mean, they've done a pretty good job here this year, and that's mainly on the HPCI play with Code 2 investing $150 million in them. On that, that's kind of helped them out there. Okay, let's see. Gary says, you don't think if Trump wins and they buy Bitcoin as a strategic investment, it won't impact Bitcoin price versus Democrats, and when Gary Gensler becomes the new Fed chair? That's if he becomes the new Fed chair. And that's also, you also have to remember that Trump just can't go out and say we're buying Bitcoin on the to put it on the Federal Reserve or the strategic reserve. Laws would need to be changed on that. So depending who we have in Congress and Senate, can they even get something like that to him to sign? That's a tough one there. So I'm not expecting that. I'm not betting on that to happen. I'm not putting that into my calculation as far as where Bitcoin could go. That makes sense. Okay. What do you feel? How do you feel about large institutions getting involved heavily in Bitcoin price space? Sorry, text is kind of small for me. Is the game going to change with Bitcoin, or do you think we are going to have more cycles in the future? Well, I'd love to have more cycles in the future. Right, rinse and repeat. Learn from this process, from this cycle. Learn from the last cycle as well. If I can repeat this, oh man, I would retire a millionaire, probably 10 years early. But it's already a different cycle. We had a new all-time high before the halving event. We've never had that before. We do have a lot more adoption, a lot more institution players in here. Could they prolong this cycle? Kind of what we saw with the gold ETFs that came out back whenever those came out at first, right? At that point, Bitcoin gold was on a multi-year rally, 4 or 5 years, 6 years, whatever it was, before getting to the top. So we'll see. 97 says, Rich want BTC. It does not matter who wins. Historically, it hasn't mattered. Sean says, especially looking good today, amigo. Thank you. What miners do you think is the most undervalued currently? In other words, which would you be buying for the short long-term gain short-term gains. I still think it's, I mean, we can look at let me pull up that chart on the large miners for the enterprise value. This kind of points me to those numbers here. Here it is. Right now, right, if we're looking at future hash rate growth for these guys, we got Bitfarms, Cleanspark, Riot, IREN as well, being way undervalued for the future hash rate growth compared to TeraWolf, which really doesn't have any growth here, right? Because you're seeing the same number, 199, same thing for Hut 8, really no growth plan there. Core is a little bit high, or no, yeah, Core is a little bit high here as well. Not a lot of growth happening here for them. So I would say, like, these guys here, Hive, again, Hive, like I keep saying, Hive is only going to be growing up to like 1% of the network hash rate, so not a lot of growth there either. But these guys up here, yeah, they're undervalued from where they should be. Riot is here because of their operational uptime. If they can fix that, that would improve as well. Okay, so those are the ones I would expect to do better going forward potentially, just based on the simple math and things like that. Because as the Bitcoin price goes up in value, they're going to be generating a heck of a lot more, especially since they're growing their hash rate too. So that's going to be a big boost to them going forward. All right, let's go back here. Okay, so yeah, so similar question here. Question: what small miner, high risk, reward at current price? At that point, you're looking at small miner. I mean, geez, it could be Saddle Griffin, could be. There's other ones in there as well. Some of the smaller guys. Those are a lot of your tickets that more or less you're buying. Put a couple $100 into them, see where they go. Okay, can Bitfarms do $11 USD this cycle? I think so, based on their growth that they have there. Now, the overhang that they have with Riot owning 19.99% of the shares there, could that be something that stops it? Maybe, I don't know. I'm hoping that it doesn't, but I just don't know. Okay. Ed says, my last buy, why is that popping up? Here it is. My last buy for this year was on October 10th. It was Bitfarms at $1.74. Nice. Jonas asks, did I miss X Spaces? Can I listen to it afterwards? And which channel? Morning time in Finland, 6:30, just woke up. Yeah, check out the Bitcoin mining stock guy. His profile should be on there. And I think it was recorded as well. So you should be able to listen to it. It's about, when did we start? It's about like 2 hours long, roughly. We had Gary Cardona in there. We had Mike in there as well. Alfred and BitPetro. It was a good conversation on there. Okay. LTD says, ECB experts, Bitcoin price appreciation could fuel diversion of society. Non-holders and latecomers must understand they have compelling reason to oppose Bitcoin and advocate legislation against it. Maybe, yeah. But, I mean, that's just like buying into any kind of stock as well, right? Early adopters usually reap the rewards. Latecomers, yeah, you can still make pretty good gains there, but you're not making the same gains that somebody that got into Amazon in the early days compared to somebody that's buying it now, right? Could you still make 50%? Sure. But are you going to be making those, 70x gains from then? No. So I don't know how that would play into it as well. Let's see, Todd asks, would you put together a show where we look at the numbers of who is buying and selling daily Bitfarms? I don't have that data. If you know where to get that data, let me know. I'll take a look into it. But yeah, I just don't have that data currently. Okay. Para asks, can you clarify the agreement between Riot and Cleanspark? Seems to be some confusion on whether Riot can sell before 2026. Yeah, I saw that too. I saw that a little bit in comments and X Spaces, or on X as well. Let me see if I can find that, the agreement that they came to together here. Let me pull up Bitfarms website, and we'll take a look at the press release that they put out, so we can figure something else out. Bear with me here a second. Where are we at? Media, investor media, press releases. That's what I want. So that was September 23rd. Okay, here we go. Okay, steps down Bitfarms reports standstill agreement through 2026 annual meeting. So I think that's the part there, the standstill agreement, that they may not buy anything, they might not sell anything through the 2026 annual meeting. Today announced the Bitfarms and Riot have entered into a settlement agreement. The agreement in advance of the special meeting of Bitfarms shareholders. The special meeting currently scheduled for November 6, 20, will be now moved and held virtually. Well, Riot has agreed to withdraw its June 2024 requisition as amended and accept customary standstill provisions through the Bitfarms 2026 annual meeting with certain exceptions. I wonder what those exceptions are. As a result of the agreement, to nominate an additional director for elections at the special meeting may be delayed, but okay, that's that. Let's see. Yeah, we'd have to see the agreement. I don't know if we can find the agreement. A copy of the agreement will be filed on Form 6K with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission and will be posted on company's Cedar profile. Okay. Let's see, when was that? That was September 23rd. Let's get into SEC. Go over here. BITF. So September 23rd, 24th report 6K. So that might be it. Is this it? Let's see here. Material change dated. This is that's the press release, I believe. Yeah, it's nothing new there. Go back here. Let's see if this is it. Settlement agreement dated. Okay, let's see here. Let's see if we can find anything. Let me see if we can just search for sell. Okay. Preemptive right. In connection with the issuance of equity for cash considered, the provided Riot beneficial owns at least 15% of the then issued and outstanding common shares. Riot shall have the right to purchase all or the portion of its prorated shares of all equity shares other than the equity securities included by Section 54. The company may from time to time propose a sell and issue offered securities unless otherwise agreed by Riot and the company in writing. Such purchase shall be made by way of private placement. So there's something there. If the company proposes to sell and issue any offered securities, it shall, as soon as reasonable practicable after the public announcement of the proposed sale of. You can read it there. It does look a little bit lengthy here. So check that out. I think that'll give you the right answers. But yeah, I may read through this tomorrow. We might do a stream on this, just talking about this. What the heck does it actually mean for us, Bitfarms holders? Okay, so we'll do that tomorrow. So come back to tomorrow's stream. We'll go over that. Okay. Karen says, I plan on selling my 800. Wow, at $11. Well, you're going to be doing very, very well. Let's see. Is there anything missed out from Bitfarms? Was thinking of buying more. Currently have 20,000 shares. Okay, so right around where I have them, I have 25,000 shares, I think, right now. I don't think there's anything you missed. You can buy more if you like. Okay. Where do you see Bitfarms at BTC? 50% up, so they should be at least 2 to 3x from where they are right now. Talked about this a little bit earlier here, but how much influence do you think the election will have on BTC price? Typically, we see a big pullback in stocks before election day. Yeah, that's stocks and things like that. We might see a little pullback. On Bitcoin, historically, if you look at it, we've looked at it in the past, there's not much change. You might see a little bit of a dip, and then it goes back up. Let's see here. Hi, Seb. Any chance that Sphere is going up to $3? Oh, man. It might. Where's Sphere right now? And he's at, I mean, it's basically be a 3x for it right now. If we look at it, here's a screenshot of it. It's, I think it kind of maybe bottomed out here at the 67 back in September. Maybe from what we've seen here. I mean, it was up to 409. Man, they just don't have a lot of growth there. With Bitcoin going up in value, could they also catch a bid up? Yes. Could they get to $3? That, I don't know. That might be, maybe, towards the peak of it, yeah, maybe they could get there. Or if they announce something of growth, but they don't have any assets. All they have is the machines. They have older generation machine as well. Anybody that does any really due diligence into them would probably not buy into them, but it might be just that, you know, they're pretty low in price. Market cap is low as well. People might think that they might get a nice bid up, and they could. I just don't know on that one. All right. Gus says, Karen has enough to get a seat on the board. Yeah, might be. Let's see, Patrick says, I have 85,000 shares, having been buying since last November. Nice. Yeah, you guys got me way beat. Okay. Do you think if Trump wins, it can raise euphoria regardless of the possibility? Possibly, yeah. Yep. Okay. Let's see. Max Kaiser, prominent Bitcoin advocate, shared his prediction on X, formerly Twitter, anticipating that Bitcoin is likely to surge around to 220 sometime soon. For the peak, might be. Yeah, I'm thinking 180,000 conservatively, but we could go above that. So that's not too far off from where I'm thinking. Okay, Patrick says, if Trump wins, I think I will sell the news in short term. Yeah, I mean, you can try timing the market and try trading it. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to, keep what I have and maybe buy more if I can. Let's see. Miners are for trading BTC proxy like MicroStrategy or ETFs at long holds DCA, think 2040 on BTC, not 2025. Yeah, BTC, if you're hodling Bitcoin, yeah, you want to hodl it for as long as you can. You could try trading it. I tried trading it in like 2017, 2018. I would have had more Bitcoin now than I do. So I've learned my lesson not to trade. I've learned my lesson just to buy as much as I can. Let's see. Let's see. How much do you got in Cypher? I don't have any Cypher shares. Okay. Do you genuinely believe Bitcoin is the new reality? Is it here to stay? Are we just as early as buying stuff online? And no, Bitcoin's been around for now, about over 10 years, right? My math is right. Yeah, over 10 years. And we've had a couple of cycles already. I don't think it's a fad or anything like that. We got institutions. Institutions legitimize it more so than anything else. You got more adoption. You got countries buying it. You got MicroStrategy buying as much as they can. Companies buying it. So there's, I think, more legitimacy to Bitcoin than ever. And it's only going to continue to grow from here. Let's see. So how much you got in Mara? I don't have any in Mara. Let's see. Sebastian, how much you got in Cleanspark? Cleanspark's about 8,000 shares. 8,500, something like that. When Bitcoin hits 75,000, what do you think the price of Cleanspark is? I mean, that's not too far away from where we are right now, so it could be up a couple dollars from where it's at. Let's see. Any seems like a high risk, high reward. Yeah. I mean, the miners themselves are high risk, but these guys, the smaller guys, are even more riskier than that. Mark says, thanks for all your hard work. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming in here. Why did Bitfarms spike on Friday? I think it was just way undervalued. Finally got to realize or notice at least. There might be some rotation happening out of core, out of other things, MicroStrategy as well, things like that. There might be just some rotation happening right now. Let's see. Mark says the problem with Bitfarms, I think, was allowing the market manipulators to have an easy slaughter of the stock price when they announced their new ATM a while back. Market makers treat this as a penny stock. Maybe. Where do you see right by the end of next week? Up a couple dollars, maybe. Depending where Bitcoin goes. It all depends where Bitcoin goes. Let's see here. Mark says, easiest money in the world for these traders is to short any stock under 10 anytime they announce an ATM without current momentum, driving or keeping the stock price near market price when it's offered. Yeah, I've seen that before. I've seen it with Cleanspark. I've seen it with IREN as well, right? Whenever they had an ATM, even though they were growing like crazy, and then all of a sudden they come out with some good news or something like that, they're done with the ATM or fully funded to something, and the stock goes on a tear. Yeah. Okay. How do you think Bitfarms holdings will affect Riot as Bitfarms rises in cost? How do you think Bitfarms holdings will affect Riot? You mean the HODL, the Bitcoin HODL there? Well, I think it's going to affect the stock. Bitcoin going up, it's going to affect Bitfarms price, which then should, with Riot having shares in Bitfarms, that should help them there as an investment on the books. Andreas says, Seb, China cut rates by another. Yeah, we talked about that. Hinted at adding to their stimulus package. Okay, nice. Let's see, is IREN grossly undervalued or Wolf fairly valued? No. IREN is undervalued. Wolf is way overvalued right now. Wolf is being valued on potential for HPCI. That's what they're getting valued on, not their Bitcoin mining side of things. Double the Bitcoin, and Wolf has higher market cap. What's with the disconnect concerning? Yeah, that's the disconnect. There's the HPCI play. You got Stan Drum Miller, whatever his name is. I can't never remember his name. Him. There's somebody else that invested in Terrorwolf as well, so that got attention of others. Others got into it as well. That's why it's had a nice run up here. But we still have not heard any news on the HPC customer or hyperscaler getting in there. So if that doesn't happen, I think it will start having an effect where the stock is going to go down. Karen asks, how high Hive, IREN, Cleanspark, Bit Digital, Bitfarms, Riot, wow, that's a long list, can do if Bitcoin's at 120,000, 150,000, 180,000. BTCs, I'm assuming, should go up like 180,000. Yeah, so at those multiples, wherever that is, so if you're looking at 2x, the miner should do at least a 3x, right? And if you get a 4x on Bitcoin, the miner should do at least, at that point, like an 8x, if you get that. So just a way to look at it. Okay. Ed says, I mean, if Bitcoin's at 500,000 2030, no average person is going to buy it, and you can't do any split. Why? You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can buy a Satoshi. There's 100 million Satoshis in each Bitcoin. Eventually, I think things will change over to Satoshis notation instead of being in Bitcoins. So that's kind of the way you could see it as a split. Right, you have 21 million shares, but you got 100 million Satoshis in each Bitcoin. How many Satoshis can you have overall? That's a lot. Let's see, do you think Bitfarms will announce growth in exahash before the month end? I would like to see that, but I don't know. They've been putting out like the data center drone footage and things like that. I think that's good, but yeah, we definitely need to see something about growth. Patrick from Data, BTC peak is around 500 days after having, we are still away from the peak. Yes. Are you holding on to Bitfarms? Yes. I bought more last week. Do you think we break new all-time high this week? It could happen, to be honest. We're not that far away from it right now. We're only, 4 or 5% away from it, I think. Let's see. Riot is up 40% from the bottom. Yep. How much you see Cleanspark if Bitcoin goes to 102,000? That's 50% gains from where we are right now, roughly in Bitcoin. You're looking at Cleanspark being at least a 2x, I would think, at that point, if not like 3x. Silver Moons asks, next cycle after 2025 Bitcoin run, I'm thinking its new low will be 35 to 40K. Your opinion? Yeah, I was thinking about 48,000 to like, that might be like the low, but we might go down to like 60,000 to 48,000, somewhere between there on it. Okay, question. Bitfarms goes back to $3 in 2 months, but still no exahash growth. Do you sell? Probably. Yeah, at that point, if we're looking at 2 months out, we're towards the end of, well, at that point, we're in the middle of December, and they haven't had growth, and they're at $3. Oh, geez. We would really need to have a really, really good explanation as to why they haven't had any growth there for me to hold on. Which miners, aside from Bitfarms, the most undervalued that you are buying? Cleanspark, IREN as well. I think those guys are way undervalued right now as well from where they should be. And who else? I think Riot's also undervalued if they can fix their operational uptime as well. Okay, Fred says, in the past you mentioned if Bitcoin does not get to a new all-time high before the end of the year, that it might be an extended cycle. What is your thinking there? Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking it doesn't have to get a new all-time high. Well, it's going to get a new all-time high anyways. But let's just say it goes only to like 75 or 80,000, right? By the end of this year as the high. At that point, I think it's going to be a different cycle. It's going to be possibly an extended cycle. Because historically it's done really well in October, November, which then makes me think that we should be closer to like 90, 100,000, 110,000, maybe somewhere around there. If we don't get close to those numbers, then things might be just drawn out longer, and we'll have to keep an eye on things. Okay. Have you invested in any semiconductor stocks? I feel like they are closely tied to Bitcoin mining. I have not, no. Let's see. the market low for Bitcoin should be in the 70,000 range, depending on how high it runs. Possibly, yeah. But last time we went down to 13, right? We were at 69,000. We went down to 13. Prior to that, we went up to 19, went down to 3. I'm thinking like somewhere around 40s, maybe range. We might come back down if we go to, 180, 200,000, something like that. Rob says, number one reason Bitfarms is dead. Investors don't believe they will hit their end of year goals. That could be part of it, yeah. Okay. See, Andrea asks, so if Wolf doubles from here in price and doesn't grow hash rate, they will be worth 400 million per exahash. I imagine network difficulty is going to continue high, so they will mine less and less Bitcoin month over month. Yes. Yep. Yeah, so they should really come down in price unless they actually do have a hyperscaler there or a HPCI contract that they can point to and go, see, this is what we got. This is why we're going to be generating nice revenue here, and that's why the stock has run up. But if we don't get that, I would expect the stock to actually go down. See, is there anything restricting Riot from selling Bitfarms shares? There is something in here in the settlement agreement. I have to read it, to be honest with you guys. It's over here. It's under the, it's a 6 SK, or SK, SK6, what is that filing? 6K filing. It is from September 23rd. And we have the agreement here, settlement agreement. I got to read through this, see what the heck this actually means. And I'm not a lawyer, so a lot of this legalese stuff is over my head. But I'll try to read over this tomorrow, and we'll talk about it tomorrow night as well. We'll see what that actually means for us. Because there's some stuff that says that they, until the 2026 shareholder meeting or something like that, that they would hold off on any selling or something like that. Oh, we'll see. I'll get into it here. But you guys are more than welcome to read this beforehand as well. Okay. Let's see. Sebastian, how much you seen that Cleanspark if you've seen BTC at 200,000? At that point, I think we're looking at closer probably to like $80 if we get there. Let's see. Do you think Cleanspark will mine more coins in October than tomorrow? I've seen some people posting that they currently are, I think. So unless Mara continues to operate the way they have been here this past couple 2 weeks, then possibly Cleanspark might overtake them. Okay, and then here, let's see. Did you see BlackRock updated miners' positions? They added a lot. Yep, Mara, Wolf, and just a little bit of Bitfarms. They reduced their positions. Yep, I saw that too. But when was that they did that? That could be the reason why. We've seen IREN going down in value in the last couple of weeks at least. A couple months back maybe, depending when they provided that information or when they did that transaction. But yeah, that is it. I think we're pretty much caught up to all your guys' questions here. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Where's Bitcoin right now? What's Bitcoin doing? Okay, Bitcoin's down a little bit. It's at 68,900. We're still... The thing I like about Bitcoin right now is at least it's above our resistance line here, which was around 69,067, or where's it at? Was going to be at 67,821. We're nicely above that. I think that bodes well for a future Bitcoin going up in value. We might come down a little bit here. The RSI is looking a little high here on the daily. So I wouldn't mind seeing that happen as well. And then on the 4-hour chart, how are we looking at that one? That one's looking pretty good. I mean, look at this. It was high here. It's actually been coming down while prices go going up. So we could see that also, where Bitcoin does for a week or two continue to go up. Actually, our side could actually go sideways or just down a little bit even. So I've seen that before too. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Other than that, we'll talk about tomorrow the Bitfarms settlement with Riot. I'll look into that. I'll give you guys highlights of it, see what we can find on that. And we'll see what else happens, see where Bitcoin is, where the miners are tomorrow as well. But things are looking up. This is a good time to be in Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners if you haven't already gotten into them. But I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming in, as always. Love having you guys here. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. Happy week to all of you. It's going to be a new week. It should be a good week.